As we take a moment to pause, check in with how we're holding our body. Notice how we hold our head, our neck, our shoulders. Notice our upper back and our shoulder blades. And notice our hips. Notice the back of our hips, how they rest on the mat. Notice the front of our hips. Notice how our legs rest in our hips. And coming back to our breath. Feeling a move in and out through our nose and our belly. And let's bend our knees one at a time, letting the back of our hips stay solid on the mat. But notice how it changes the position of our low back. Noticing if there's a difference in our hips and our relationship with our low back. Notice how this position, by just simply bending our knees, feels in our upper and mid back. Notice how we can relax the back of our shoulders down a little bit further. And from here, let's draw our knees into our chest and give them a hug. Noticing the length through our low back. And we're going to take our hands to the top of our knees. Let's take our knees out wide. Draw our knees forward until our arms fully extend. Then lift our knees up to the ceiling, drawing our knees back into our chest. And then knees out wide and forward, up and in. Continuing to make circles. And then the next time our knees come into our chest, let's pause. Draw our knees forward, take them out wide, and draw our knees back in and together, reversing the direction of our circles. Then releasing our feet down to the mat. We're going to walk our feet out a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. And then rock our knees side to side, just finding some movement within the back of our hips. Then allow our movement to expand. Letting the movement expand a little bit more, maybe beginning to lift one knee or one hip up off the mat at a time. Really focusing on the leg that's dropping in to the midline of our body. Then lower both knees over to the right, and we're going to hold. Feel our belly hug in, feel the left side of our ribs soften down towards the floor. And then you're going to have the option of lifting your right leg, placing it on top of our left leg. But before we drop our right leg down, I want you to really listen to your hips and think about length. Think about your left knee going forward and then letting your right leg move into rotation more than pulling your left knee down. Being gentle with our body. If there's any discomfort in the back of our left hip, back off. And slowly lift our right leg, place our right leg back on the floor. Make sure our legs are still wide. Then lift our knees up and take our knees over to the left, letting our right hip lift up off the mat. Now, even though our right hip is lifting, the right side of our ribs are drawing down, like we're trying to keep our body in a twist in the opposite direction. Just taking a moment to pause for a moment. Try to soften rather than force. Then hugging our bellies in, lift our left leg, keep our knee open, let our left foot rest on the outside of our right leg, slowly adding weight as it feels okay for you. Keep our belly hugged in to help support our low back. No pain, no discomfort. Really focus on the left knee rotating down towards the floor rather than trying to push our right leg down. And slowly lift our left leg, place our left foot on the floor, lift both knees together, walking our feet in, hip width distance apart, and then drawing our knees into our chest and giving them a hug. From here, let's cross our ankles, lift our feet, rock up to seated. From our seated position, sit up tall, press our hips forward, and then lean forward until our fingertips can touch the floor. Keeping our shoulders relaxed down. Begin to walk our hands forward, start to round our back, lower down to what feels good for you. Notice which foot is in front. Then rise back up, walking our hands back. Switch the cross of our ankles. Sit up tall, press our hips forward, then slowly lean forward, keeping the curve of our low back, placing our hands on the mat to what feels good for us. Then walk our hands forward, rounding our back, lowering down, keeping it comfortable for you. Slowly rise up, walking our hands in. Let's come to a standing position at the front of our mat. From our standing position, let's step our right foot back halfway. Push our heel down to the floor. Make sure our feet are hip width distance apart. Then bend our front knee. Pull our leg back. And then bend our knee, tracking our knee over the center of our foot. Check in that your heel is firm on the ground. Pull back. Press forward. Notice if you move your hips. Do you rotate in any way? And if you do, see if you can try and keep your hips stable and aligned. Pull back. And then again, pressing our knee forward. Come back. This time we're going to drop our knee in, but again, we're not going to move our hips. We're not going to move our core. We're going to keep our whole upper body all the way to our hips level and balanced. Drop our knee in. Keep the outside of your left foot pressed down, and then draw your left knee forward. Pull back and draw our knee forward again. Aiming for our big toe or on the inside of our toe. Pull back and again. and pull back. We're going to take our knee wide and forward. Pull back. Take our knee wide and forward. Make sure we're not turning our hips. Pull back. Keep the inside arch of our foot lifted, our heel down, and pull back. One more time. And forward. Step our right foot forward, left foot back about halfway. If the stance is too wide, narrow it a little bit. That's the length of our stance. Keep our feet hip width distance apart or wider. Toes are light. Bend our right knee, draw our knee forward, keep our shoulders back. So we're not leaning forward, we're keeping our weight over our hips. Pull back, keeping the hips aligned, knee forward. And bring it back. Press forward. Noise in our knee is absolutely okay as long as it's not painful. And bring it back. Draw our knee in and forward. So we're aiming for the big toe or on the inside of the big toe. Pull back and press forward. And back, dropping it in, pressing forward. Legs should feel like they're rotating in towards each other. Let's do one more. And this time we're going to go out wide. Knee out towards the pinky toe or wider. And bring it back. Knee forward and out. Bring it back. And a couple more times. Try not to lean forward. Keep your shoulders over your hips. One more time. And back. Let's press off through our back foot. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend our knees, rise all the way up. Hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps back, halfway again. Pressing our left knee forward, we're keeping it, generally speaking, over the top of our ankle. Then rise up and hold. So we're in a warrior one position. Hips are square to the front of our mat. Your back toe can turn out, back foot can turn out slightly. Front knee is bent. Now straighten our front leg. Hips stay aligned. Bring our arms to our front leg. Then walk our hands down our leg. Notice when you can't move from your hips anymore. And then round your back. Hands can come down to blocks, the floor. They can stay on your leg, whatever feels good for you. Your left knee can be slightly bent. Bending our left knee. Walk our hands up our leg. Come all the way up. We're going to push off through our back foot to step forward. Step our left foot back halfway. Feet are still hip width distance apart or a little bit wider. Back foot is pointing straight forward or slightly out. Bend our knee. Reach our hands up. Encouraging good posture with our hands reaching up to the ceiling. Keeping our shoulders down away from our ears. Building strength in our front leg. Then straighten our leg again. Notice that our hips stay square to the front of our mat. Hinge forward from our hips. We're going to take our hands to our front leg. Then walk or slide our hands down, listening to your posture. Where do we stop from our hips and where do we begin to move into our back? Take our outer right hip and reach it towards the back of our mat. Bending our front knee, bringing our knee over the top of our ankle. Walk our hands up our legs, sweeping our hands up, encouraging that good posture. We're going to push off through our back foot and step forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend our knees, rise all the way up. Hands come to heart center. Releasing our hands down, we're going to step back to the center of our mat. From the center of our mat, we're going to reach our right foot forward, keeping our right leg straight. Balancing on our left foot. Keep our hips square to the front of our mat. We're going to step forward, landing on a bent knee. So when you're ready, push off through your back foot. Keep both knees bent. Then you're going to keep your shoulders over your hips for almost all of this movement. Push off through your front foot and step back to center. We're going to step out at a 45-degree angle. So kicking our foot out, push off through our left foot, land with a bent knee. Shoulders stay over our hips. Then push off, come back to center. Now this next one, our shoulders are going to come out of alignment, meaning that they're going to come forward and not be stacked over our hips. So kick our right foot off to the side. Land with a bent knee, leaning forward, letting our hips go back. And then push off, come to center. Lift our right leg. Open up our hip to the right. Our left knee stays pointed forward. Step our right foot back. Weight is balanced between our feet. Push off through your right foot. Come back to center. Kick our right foot back. You can let your toes hover if you're working with balance. Then step back. Push off. Come back to center. We're going to take our left heel, lift it up. Extend our left leg. Step forward. Both knees are bent. Push off. Come back to center. Foot comes out 45. Then step forward, landing with bent knees. Most of your weight's in your front leg. Push off, come back to center. We're going to step to the left, so reach our left foot out to the side. Then step, reaching our hips back. Knee is bent, keeping our knee behind our toes. Push off, come to center. Left foot, kick it back. Step back, both knees are bent. Push off, come to center. And this next time, we're going to do it a little bit differently. Reach our hands up to the ceiling. Shift our weight onto our left foot by lifting our right heel. Encouraging good posture, kick your right foot forward. Step your right foot forward. Push off, come back to center. Keep your arms lifted. Right foot comes out 45. Step forward. Push off, come back to center. Arms are going to come out to our side as we kick our right foot out and land. And come back up, reaching our hands up to the ceiling. Lift our right knee. Open up our right hip. Step our right foot down. Lift our right foot. Come back to center. Kick our right foot back. Land. Both knees are softly bent. Step forward, keep our arms reaching up, lift our left heel, extend our left leg, step our left foot forward, and kick off or push off. Left foot comes out 45, and step down, and push off. Arms are going to come down halfway, so they're parallel to the ground. Kick our left foot out, land, hips are back, come up, hands reach up, kick our left foot back, step back, both knees are bent, push off, and land, hands come to heart center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Taking a moment to pause and breathe. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend our knees, rise all the way up. Hands come to heart center. Hands reach back up to the ceiling. Right foot, kick it forward. And land. Push off and hover, don't touch down. Foot comes out 45. Land. Push off, hover. Out to the side, arms come down. Push off, hover. Open up our right hip. Land. And come back to center, don't touch down. Kick back, both knees are bent. Push off, hands come to heart center as your right foot comes down. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend our knees, rise all the way up. Keep our hands reaching up, lift our left heel. Kick our left leg forward. Land. Come back, hover. Left foot out 45. Land. Come back, hover. Left foot out to the side, arms come down. Hips back. Rise up, hands reach up. Don't let your foot touch down. Open up your hip. And come back to center, don't touch down. Kick our foot back, land, bent knees. Push off. Let our left foot come down, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend our knees, rise all the way up. Hands come to heart center. Releasing our hands down, step forward to the front of our mat. We're going to come down to kneeling and then seated, bringing our feet in front of us. We're going to take our left knee out wide, bend our right knee. We're going to take our fingers, wrap our hands around our calves, find our shin bone, and let your fingers hold on to that shin bone so it doesn't move. Make sure your left leg is out of the way any way you want it. We're going to lift our right foot, keep our heel down. Draw our right foot over to the side without letting our shin move. Push our foot down. Slide our foot over to the left. Don't let our shin move. Lift our foot up. Come back to center. Go to the left again. Don't let our shin move. Bring our foot down. Slide it over to the right. Lift it up. Come back to center. Reverse. Toes to the right. Foot down. Slide to the left. Lift up. Center. Reverse. Go to the left. Back down. To the right. back up, center, put your foot down. Switch sides, holding on to our left shin bone, making sure it's not moving. Then lift our toes, pushing our heel down, lift our foot up as high as we can go. Bring our toes in, push our toes down, slide our toes to the left. Don't let our shin move with. Lift our toes up, come to center, toes to the left, push down, slide in, lift up, center, and reverse. To the right, down, left, lift, center, reverse, down, right, lift, center. Put your foot down. We're going to come to a kneeling position. So coming up onto our right knee, left foot's going to stay on the floor. And I want you to gently scoop your tailbone. Nothing big, just gently scooping it in. And then I want you to walk your left foot back so that your knee is over the top of your ankle is where we're starting, but you could come back a little bit further if you know you have more mobility. Then from here, we're going to push our left knee forward, keeping our heel down. Then come back up, lifting our toes up off the mat. Then put our toes back down, push our knee forward, keeping our heel down. Come back, lift our toes. Put our toes down, press our knee forward. Keep our heel down. And come back, lift our toes, heel rests lightly on the mat. Let our foot come down. We're going to release our left knee down to the mat. Right foot comes forward. If you know you have a little more mobility, walk your right foot back. You can always change it up at any time in your practice, moving your foot forward or back. From here, both hands come to your right leg. Knee comes forward, keep your heel down. You're moving within your range of motion. Pull your knee back, lift your toes up. Put your toes down, press your knee forward. And lift up. And put it down, press forward. And pull back, lifting our toes. One more time, toes down, knee forward. And pull back, toes up. Put our foot down. We're going to release our right knee down. Hands come down to the mat, all fours. Let's round our back like a Halloween cat. Let our head hang, tuck our tailbone. Taking a moment to hold. Sink our hips back halfway. Feeling a little more length through our back. And bend our elbows, slowly lower them down to the mat. Keep our belly hugged in until our forehead lands. Once our forehead lands, relax your belly. Hug our belly in, squeeze our knees together. Lift our spine, rounding our back. Slowly come up. Keeping our back rounded, we're moving back into cat pose. Then draw our tailbone back. We're looking for a neutral spine. Hands press into the mat, lift out of our shoulders. Crown of our head reaches forward. Tailbone reaches back. Rounding our back. Head hangs, tailbone tucks, belly's hugged in a lot. Sink our hips back halfway. Bend our elbows, lower them down halfway. Staying here for a moment. Keep our belly hugged in, slowly lower our elbows. When our forehead lands, relax our belly. Squeeze our knees together, hug our belly in, rounding our back, roll up nice and slow. And then lengthen our spine, reach the crown of our head forward, tailbone back. Pressing our hands into the mat, rising up a little bit taller through our shoulders. Nice, long, slow, even breath. One more time, hugging our belly in, rounding our back. Let our head hang, tailbone tucks. Sink our hips back halfway. Bend our elbows, lower them down halfway. Holding and breathing. Slowly release down, let go of our belly when our forehead lands. Squeeze our knees together, hug our belly in. Slowly rise up. Lengthening our spine. Rise up tall through our shoulders. Breathing through our belly. Crawl forward to the front of our mat. Cross our ankles or sweep our feet to one side. We're going to roll onto our back. Bringing our blocks with us. We're going to place them underneath our knees and lower onto our back. Finding Shavasana, tucking our shoulder blades underneath us, drive our elbows into the mat, lift our chest, feel it open, feel it strong, and then relax, letting our arms relax out, palms facing up. Drawing our awareness back to our bodies. And our breaths begin to deepen. Slowly bending our knees, kicking our blocks off to the side. And roll over to our right side, pressing ourselves up, finding our way back to a comfortable seat. Drawing our hands together in front of our heart, sealing in all that we found in this practice of movement, of awareness, of listening to our bodies, being connected with our minds. All of that is a gift of information that we learned about ourselves that we can take into our day-to-day life. Namaste.